feels like I've got no
算是一
time.
个大旺季之一。
Nights drag on as the clock's
说话叫
unwind.
做樱花。
Sometimes it feels like I'm barely alive. Oh, I don't know who I am. I keep on making the same mistake. I wait and wait till the levee breaks. Once too many and I forget my name. Oh, I don't know who I am. Oh, it used to be so easy. Now I'm running on empty. Oh, singing's easier said than done. Piercing the pain just to have it sung. For someone to say it's already been done. Oh, I don't know who I am. Oh, it used to be oh so easy. Now I'm running on empty. Maybe one day I'll actually believe what everyone seems to see me, truly become what I've always dreamed. Well, till then it's all in my hands. Till then it's paper to pen. Oh, till then it's this feeling over again. Oh, I don't know who I am. Oh, I won't know who
战士。
现在上学时候，你们没有那么烦哦。